Well, welcome back, and our next segment is our coaching corner. And tonight, Karen, I don't know how I did it, but I convinced Mark Slatin to come by tonight. Mark, welcome to the program.
Thanks so much for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and True Colors Consulting.
Okay, well, I've always been fascinated with selling and curious about what motivates buyers to buy, and also what makes great salespeople and why others maybe not so much. And so I've just been a student, a perpetual student. I believe you're never too old to learn. And so I've been, through my career, 25 years in sales and sales management in the Fortune 500. The last 13 years I spent with Boise Cascade Corporation, and 9 of those years I was actually in the field selling, and then went into management and led a sales team, a sales organization in the Mid-Atlantic states. And in addition to that, I also teach now at Loyola University in Maryland. Teach a course called Sales Management and Strategies to MBA students.
Wow.
So then I started True Colors Consulting back in July of 2007. And the mission there, really, we do coaching, we do sales training, and I do speaking as well, all on the topic of how to build trust in selling.
Honestly?
Honestly.
And why did you find there was a need to start up True Colors Consulting?
Yeah, I found that there was a huge gap between what I found that worked in sales and what was being taught out there in the sales world. There's a lot of good sales programs out there, but very few of them mention anything at all about the importance of trust and relationships. And so when it comes down to it at the end of the day, people buy from people they perceive as being trustworthy. In fact, one of the most fascinating surveys was done by Miller Hyman, who studies these sorts of things, and found that trust or lack of trust was the #1 reason for failed sales, more so than the next 4 reasons combined. And so that really became the emerging mission of what I was going to do at True Colors, which is really to simplify a way to teach how to sell with trust.
Wow. Well, Mark, I'll be honest with you, you can't swing a dead cat in this town, not hit an executive coach or consultant of some kind. So what makes True Colors a little different?
Well, True Colors is different probably for two reasons. One is the audience we talk to, and 2 is the message. The audience really has 2 sides. One is professional services people. These are people like CPAs, attorneys, IT managers, engineers, and people who tend to call on people who are relationship-oriented type selling. Those people think sell is a 4-letter word, right? They would rather have their wisdom teeth pulled than sell. And then there's this other group of salespeople, sales professionals, career salespeople, and when they go through the training and the course, it's interesting. They have this sort of aha moment, like, wow, I had not heard that before. In fact, that's kind of the opposite of what we learned in our training program, but now I can see why I didn't close those sales. So the second thing is the message. The message is really, there's a lot of, like I said before, there's a lot of organizations that do sales training. And it's really important to have a good way to track and measure sales activity. But a lot of them claim to be customer focused. Customer focused from the standpoint of being a vulture, looking for an opportunity and then just pouncing on their victim.
Yeah.
And the reality is the paradox in selling is just the opposite. The less hard you work to make the sale and the more you make trust your goal, the more success you have in selling.
Wow.
Do you have a success story for us from one of your students or one of your consulting clients?
Yeah, there's one I really like to tell. It's a story about a VP of sales who was in a course we taught recently, and we went through this concept of how to deal with the initial call. The initial call is one of the most difficult parts in selling, as you know. And so we went through it, and she was going to read hers out loud. We had just finished a model, and she went back to her original style, and we asked her why. Why'd you go back? And she said, well, because I didn't feel comfortable with that. It felt a little too direct for me. And so I noticed people in the audience kind of shaking their heads, siding with her, until one lady in the crowd who is a VP, who is a CFO of a financial services company, say, I disagree. She said, I disagree because if you've got a way for me to cut 25% in operating costs out of my organization, and you've done it for an organization like mine, I want to know about it. And it was like a breakthrough for this lady. And she said, we're going to have to revisit the way we do this. And so that is, to me, that's a success story. When you've got someone who's been managing a sales team for 3 decades, and says, after this, I'm going to change the way I do it.
Incredible. So talk to me a little bit about how you market and advertise True Colors.
Yeah, that's, you know, I certainly feel like there's been several things that have worked well. One of them is public speaking. Whenever you can share your message with an audience, it's really great. Another thing is I get involved in the chamber and networking groups. And in particular, I find that because we're talking about trust and selling and how important it is, that I'm an advocate of kind of working relationships deep rather than wide. So my thought is if you go too thin and you work a whole bunch of different ones, it's hard to build those relationships. So, you know, rifle shot over a shotgun approach.
Yeah. I know honesty plays a big part of that too. And so what's on the horizon for True Colors?
Well, I'm really excited about 2009 because we laid a lot of groundwork in 2008. In fact, at the end of the year, we signed an agreement with the Business Learning Institute, who is an arm of the Maryland Association of CPAs. And so now the Trust-Centered Selling, which is the sales training course I teach, is available as an accredited course for anyone who's a CPA in Maryland. In addition, I have a webinar series right now that I offer online at truecolorsconsulting.com. And I'm offering another one now, kind of a 201 course for the graduates of the first webinar.
Well, that's convenient.
Yeah, yeah. And then the third thing is I'm excited about writing a book. I'm writing in the process of doing a book proposal, and the book should be ready by, or complete by the end of Q3.
Well, give us a little bit about what the book's going to be about.
The book's going to be kind of fun, short, a little different format. It's going to be kind of a challenge for people, and it's going to be focused on, guess what, trust and selling.
Trust and selling, yeah. Well, that's something to look forward to. And if somebody wants to get in contact with you to do a speaking engagement or maybe to actually help their team out, what's the best way for them to do that?
You know, probably the best way is to go to the website, www.truecolorsconsulting.com, or just call me at 410-480-2255. And
we'll have that at the end of the trailer, too.
Great.
Mark, thanks so much for making the trek down here from Ellicott City, and I look forward to when that book comes out. You're going to save an edition for me, all right?
You'll get a signed copy.
Great.